There are three different categories in Google Search Console's page indexing report that deal with duplication. We've got duplicate, Google chose different canonical than user, duplicate without user selected canonical, and alternate page with proper canonical tag. Let's talk about what each of these categories mean and what you need to do if you see your website's pages ending up in one of these categories. Starting off with duplicate, Google chose different canonical than user. So duplicate, Google chose different canonical than user is the main category to pay attention to because it usually means that there is some kind of duplicate content issue that exists on the website. And in this case, Google detected that the duplicate content exists and they saw that your website contains canonical tags. Canonical tag is just a HTML tag that's added to the page that tells Google what the official version of the URL is that they should use. And Google is saying, okay, we saw that canonical tag, but we're going to ignore it and we're going to do something else. So Google is going to make their own decisions about what the canonical tag ought to be. Now, in general, it's probably a good idea to not let Google make up their own decisions about what to do with your website's content. You want to make those decisions and you want Google to follow your guidelines about your website's content. So you need to understand why Google is choosing to ignore your website's canonical tags in this case. One of the most common reasons I see this happen is that there actually is a duplicate content problem and the canonical tags aren't resolving that correctly. So let's say, for example, that on your website you have page A and page B, and page A and page B contain identical content, right? They are duplications. But what can happen sometimes is that both pages end up with a self-referencing canonical tag. Self-referencing meaning that they're declaring themselves to be the canonical version. So we've got page A that contains the same content as page B, but the canonical tag on page A says that page A is the official version, and the canonical tag on page B says that it's the canonical or the official version of that page's content. So Google's going to look at this during a crawl and they're going to say, well, wait a minute, you're telling us that you have duplication and that both versions of this page are the official version. So Google's going to pick one instead of the other. You want to make sure they're picking the correct one so that way your choices about what content should rank in search results aligns with what Google is deciding to rank in search results. The next category is duplicate without user selected canonical. Duplicate without user selected canonical almost indicates some kind of problem on the website, and a problem that has not been addressed at all. There's no canonical tag to tell Google what version of the URL is the official version. And so Google is going through the website during their crawl. They're finding that duplication exists, but they don't see any kind of indication of how to handle that duplication. And so they're going to keep those pages out of the index because of that duplication. And if they're out of the index, those pages aren't going to rank. They aren't going to bring traffic to your website. So you need to look at what these pages are and see why Google is saying that these pages contain duplicate content. If there is an actual duplication issue, then you need to find a different way to resolve that. Maybe you can add a canonical tag to these pages and that will resolve it, where Google will then pick one version, the canonical version of the URL, to put that into search results. In other cases, you actually need to get rid of some of these duplicate pages on your website. You want to delete these pages, you want to redirect these pages and consolidate them into a single URL. That way Google knows which URL to actually rank. Somehow, some way with this particular category, you need to find a way to address the duplication problem on the website. The final category is alternate page with proper canonical tag. Alternate page with proper canonical tag usually isn't a problem. It just means that Google found some kind of duplication on your website, but they saw that there was a proper canonical tag that said that that alternate page was not the official version of the page. There's a canonical tag that took them to a different version of the page. So alternate page with proper canonical tag isn't a problem. You don't want these pages in the index. That's what the canonical tag is doing, is it's telling Google, hey, we don't want these pages in the index this other page instead. An alternate page with proper canonical tag is Google's way of letting you know that they've seen those canonical rules and that they're going to respect them. In most cases, sometimes you end up with pages in the alternate page with proper canonical tag that shouldn't be there. Google's making a mistake and they're putting things in here accidentally. So you end up with pages not indexed that shouldn't be. Usually that can mean that there's some sort of problem with canonical tags or there's something that's causing Google to misunderstand the canonical tag on the website. So you want to do a double check on this category, but it's not the category of duplication you want to pay too much attention to. If you have any questions about these duplicate content issues that can prevent pages from being indexed on your website, or other questions about working with Google Search Console's page indexing report, please feel free to email me. You can email me at matthew@elementive.com. If you liked this video and like to see more like it from Elementive, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.